Righto then, Captain Mike, welcome to Flight Experience
Thank you,
today,
Nick.
welcome aboard. So at the moment we're currently sitting off of runway 09 right at London Heathrow Airport. That's the runway out there to our left. So in a moment we're going to taxi out there and head off for our flight. Before we go, I'm going to take you through the basic controls of the aircraft, and as you select the educational option I'll also go a bit more in depth on what's all around you.
Yep.
So first off, we got the main one in front of us, the yoke. So this is what we're going to use to steer the aero, so you can put both your hands on that for me. So this is what we're going to use to steer the aircraft. So obviously turning it to the left causes the aircraft to go to the left, turning it to the right causes the aircraft to go to the right. Pulling it back will cause the nose to go up, and pushing it forward will cause the nose to go down. We use this to steer while we're in the air. It won't actually steer on the ground. So when we're on the ground during takeoff and landing, make sure you keep this nice and central, because if you turn it like that, for example, it's going to make the aircraft tip. So just leave that nice and centered. To steer along the ground, we've got two things. One we're going to use is the tiller. That's that black thing there. So you pull that down, that'll cause the aircraft to go to the left, and if you push it up, that'll cause it to go to the right. Both the thing is, with all these controls, they're very sensitive, so you only have to give nice smooth movements, no yanking it around. So we only use that when we're taxiing on the runway. When we're actually going at high speed, so takeoff and landing, you're going to be using those rudder pedals. So all we have to do is just very gently push it in, just to keep the aircraft straight down the runway. So if you want to just pop your feet on them for me, and I'll take you through it. So that controls the big tail on the back of the plane. Pushing it into the left causes the nose to go to the left. Pushing it into the right causes it to go to the right. Pretty self-explanatory. Okay, looking down here, we got the throttle quadrant. Excuse me. So we've got two throttles for each engine, so pushing them forward increases the power as it comes up, and pulling them back decreases the power. Noticing there that because it takes a couple of seconds for the engines to spin up and spin down, there is a little bit of a lag. So just bear that in mind when we're coming into land and during takeoff. To help us slow down, we're going to be using the thrust reversers when we come to a full stop on the runway. I'm sure you've heard that noise before, so I'll get you to operate them when we need to stop. We also have the speed brake here that deploys panels on the wings that will help slow us down. That's deployed automatically. Looking over here now, we've got the flap lever and the settings. Can you see all these settings over here? Yep. So do you know what the flaps do?
Vaguely,
Yep, so they're panels that come out the back of the wing and increase the lift for takeoff and landing. So to adjust the flap, all you're going to do is lift it up, move it to whichever notch you want to do. You don't have to go like 1, 2, 3, so you can just lift it and go straight and drop it down. To get through these safety catches, all you have to do is put it up, push it forward to the stop, down and up. So if you imagine it like a V shape. So if you'd like to set that back to flaps 5 for me. Down and up, excellent. Flaps 5, fantastic. The other thing we have is the trim here, which is what will keep the aircraft level and balanced in flight. That's this wheel here. I'll be controlling that for you. Just bearing in mind that that can spin quite fast, so be sure not to put your knee into it. Okay? Alright, looking up here.
So that is an actual spinning thing in the real thing,
Yeah, absolutely. So
amazing.
you see that moving around. When we go into kayak, if you like, we can also make it a bit more interesting. We can put it at night in a thunderstorm, if you like. We'll be using the autopilot then to help us, but you'll still be doing all the controlling. But you'll actually see this. It'll constantly adjust itself forward and back, forward and back. But that's a real air control. As all this here is exactly as you'd see in the aircraft.
So why does that need to be doing that? Why don't they cover it up?
That would be because normally you adjust it here. Now if that were to fail...
I see. Right.
Back up. Always got to have redundancy in
place. So tell me again, what's that doing?
That's just keeping the aircraft level and balanced in flight.
Okay,
I'll explain it to you once we're in the air. It's a bit difficult to explain on the ground. Looking here now, we've got the primary flight display, or PFD. This here is our artificial horizon, gives us a visual representation of what's happening outside the aircraft. So we've got the sky is the blue, brown is the ground. That black dot represents the aircraft nose, and those black lines there represent the wings. So when the wings are level like that with that white line, the aircraft's flying straight, not turning left or right. And that black dot, if you pull back on the yoke, the black dot will go up, and if you push forward on the yoke, the black dot will go down. And all you need to do really is make sure that you hold the yoke and adjust it so that you can get that black dot to where you want it to go. We'll talk you through that as we're in the air. When we take off, we're going to pull the yoke back to 15 degrees nose up. That's indicated by these white lines here. So 2.5, 5, 7.5, so on and so forth in the 2.5 increments. That's 15 degrees there, and I'll prompt you through that once we get going. Bearing in mind that you will have to pull back nice and firm all the way. Sometimes people pull it to here and wonder why they're still hurtling down the runway, not going up.
Okay.
Cool. Now we have the airspeed indicator here, which shows our aircraft speed in knots, and our altimeter, which shows the aircraft altitude in feet. Looking over here now, we have our map display, which shows a GPS map with an electronic compass overlaid on top of it. We can explain a bit more of that when we get in the air.
Yep.
Looking here now, we have our engine displays. So this shows the two engines here producing their power as a percentage. So 20% power is idle. If I push it forward, see how the power starts to increase, and obviously pulling it back slows it down. And then there's just exhaust gas temperatures and the fuel remaining in our tanks. We don't need that lower display. Looking down here, this is our flight management computer, or FMC. This is the brains of the aircraft, and basically calculates our takeoff speeds, our landing speeds, our flap settings, and all other various parameters like that, as well as holding our navigation data. So looking down here, we've got our radio controls. We're talking to air traffic control, and we also have our navigation controls for dialing up the frequencies of the various landing instruments. And you'll see more of this when we get to Hong Kong.
Right.
Yep. Finally, looking up here now, we got the mode control panel, or MCP. This is what we use to control the aircraft's autopilot. For the moment, you will be mostly just focusing on this dial when I talk you through it, and then you'll see more in-depth use of this once we head to Hong Kong.
Good.
And then finally, looking up here, we have our overhead panel. Looks a bit daunting, doesn't it, with all the switches and dials? That's okay. It's all just various systems of the aircraft, and I've already configured that up for us. There's just things like the fuel pumps, generators, hydraulic and electric pumps, as well as our air conditioning units.
Right.
Okay, any questions?
Probably 100, but not yet.
That's okay, fantastic. That's all good to hear. So right now what we're going to do is you're going to flick all of these light switches on for me, so that way other aircraft can see us when we get out runway.
All the way?
Yep, they're two-stage switches, that's it. Only those two are the two-stage ones, those just go up and down. And we can also flick this switch down for me. I'm sure we've heard that sound before.
Seatbelts, yeah.
Passengers take their seats to be seated for takeoff. Okay, so now we've got our engine start set to continuous, so auto throttle is trim is set, brake set to rejected takeoff, flap set, and now it's over to you. Park brake off, so if you just want to push that paddle forward, that's it. Now I'm going to get you to have one hand on the tiller and one on the throttles, and you're going to put in just a tiny bit of power, no further than my hand, pushing them both at the same time. That's it, just there, and then in a second the aircraft will start moving.
Okay.
There we go. And now you're going to use that tiller to taxi us
sensitive.
forward. Yeah, only very small. Don't try and swing it back and forth.
Right.
Just turn it one way and hold it, and then take it back to center, and there you go. So just following it round out there.
Yep.
And then once we start turning around, I'm going to get you to put your hand back on the yoke, and I'm just going to line it up for you so I can explain one other thing to you. That's it. Closing that off now. That's it. There we go.
Whoa.
So turning all the way, just holding it there.
Whoa.
That's okay. Okay, you can put your hand back on the yoke now, and I'm just going to line it up for you.
Thank you.
Not a problem, because there is actually a bit of a trick to this.
Yep.
Okay. So just let me get that lined up. Fantastic. Okay. So before we get going, I'll just pop that back on. So at the moment, it probably looks like you're looking, sitting on the left, looking to the side of the runway.
Yep.
Yep. That's because the aircraft's very wide. We're sitting either side of the centre line, looking inwards, and we call that parallax area.
Yep.
So if you move your head to the centre, see how it actually is mostly lined up?
Yep.
It's a little bit screwy, but we'll fix that up as we go. So to get over that, we sort of line the centre up. You don't have to take this as a rule. Just try and get it lined up with that notch in the dashboard or your right leg, and that'll get you pretty much where you need to go. Don't focus on that too much, just because it all depends on where you've got your head. So as we get closer to the runway, focus on it more by visually seeing it outside the aircraft, and I'll help you through it as we go. Okay?
Yep.
Alright, we're just about ready for takeoff, so you can push that paddle forward for me. So take the park brake off, that's it. You're going to have one hand on the yoke, one hand on the throttle, and just before you do that, I'm going to explain to you. We're going to power these up to 40%, wait for the engines to stabilise, that means they're working all okay, and then I'm going to get you to engage this little button here.
Alright.
So you're going to press that, that's going to engage our auto throttle. That'll automatically control the throttles and power. So you can take once that's done, you can put both hands back on the yoke, keeping it nice and centered, and keeping the aircraft straight on the runway with those rudder pedals.
Yep.
I'm going to call V1 rotate. That's when you pull back, and we'll be up and away. Ready to go?
So hang on a sec. So I'm going to push this forward to wait for 40%.
Yep.
That'll lock it. Will it?
No, you press that, and then that'll automatically cause them to go forward. Because that's the auto throttles. In the commercial jets, it's all controlled by the auto throttle. Because that way, otherwise you'd have to sit there forward and back, forward and back. Whereas this does it automatically for us. Okay.
But is it doing it automatic to 40, or?
No. You're putting it up to 40.
Oh, okay.
And then you're pressing that to turn it
Okay,
on.
right.
Okay?
Alright, good.
So there we go. Up to 40% now. We're cleared for takeoff. So you can push it a bit faster, just to where my hand is.
Yep.
A little bit further. Doesn't have to be exactly 40% around it. That's it. We'll just wait for the engines to stabilise now. Okay, see they're all stable, so
Yep.
engaging that little black button now, pressing that, and putting both hands on the yoke, that's it.
Yep.
And we're away. See now how they come forward by themselves? That means they're automatically controlling the power. I'll explain it to you a bit more as we go along.
Yeah, got to go right a bit.
Yep, a little bit to the right. I'll just help you line it up with the start with, and that way you can get the feel of what it looks like. Okay, our airspeed's alive.
Yep.
And a little bit to the left now. I won't always be doing this. I find it's best to do it at the start so you can sort of see what you're looking for. So
Wow.
just nice and smooth, just relax. There we go. And V1 rotate, so pulling all the way back for me. Keep pulling back, all the way back, nice and firm. Keep pulling, all the way. There we go. Up, up and away we go. So you want to keep those controls
up to...
We're going to raise it to 15 degrees, just
Yep.
there. That's
Alright.
it. I'll turn that off so you can see it a bit better. So feet off the rudder pedals now.
Yep.
That's it. And lowering the nose, holding
Yeah,
it on
on
that,
15, yeah, gotcha.
that line there. We're positive rate of climb, so we can put our landing gear out and up, so you can get this for me. So out and up.
Out and up.
Multitasking here.
Okay.
There we go. And we've passed 1,000 feet, so now we're going to lower the nose down to 10 degrees, so pushing
Okay.
forward on
Yep.
the yoke, that's it. And we're going to climb up to 3,000 feet. Excellent. See now we're passing 2,000, so we're going to go up to 3,000.
Okay.
Okay, now you can put our flaps to 1. Raise our flaps to 1, we can put up the first stage. Just out and forward, drop it in the catch. That's it,
Is that the one?
that's it. Excellent. Lowering the nose a little bit more.
I'm wondering 10 degrees was it? Or?
10 degrees,
Yep.
and now we're actually going to push it all the way to about 3 between those two lines
Okay,
there.
yep.
So keep pushing forward a bit harder, That's it. See how you got to react? You got to sort of anticipate it before.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the
yeah.
aircraft carries a lot of
Yeah,
momentum.
gotcha.
That's okay. So if you actually just want to, just nice and gentle. If you want to just release the yoke for a second,
Yep.
so let go of it, and I'll show you. Once we've trimmed that aircraft out like that, see how now the aircraft is actually flying along quite nicely, maintaining 3,000 feet.
Right.
Look out there, perfect. So
Yep.
congratulations, Captain.
Oh, thank you very much.
Takeoff. How'd that feel?
Fantastic. Amazing.
Exciting.
Amazing.
Yep. I'm glad to hear. All right, so what we're going to do?
So we're heading east.
We are. Yep. You can also put our flaps up to 0. Just here, flaps
Okay,
to 0,
yep.
and then back on the yoke. That's it. So just lowering the nose a little bit just there, we'll climb back down to, we'll descend down to 3,000 feet. So we're going to sort of fly over the city here,
Yep.
and then we're going to turn back around and come back for the runway, okay? So I'll just clean the aircraft up for you, Captain. They go off, and our engine starts to go off. Excellent. So raising the nose now to about 3 again, so just between those two lines, and you'll see we'll actually level off quite nicely at about 3,000 feet. Excellent. See, there's a lot of manual handling involved.
Yeah.
We're going through some cloud here, and then we're heading over London City, and then we'll turn around and head back to the airport. So unfortunately, even though we get the best views as pilots, when you're hand flying the plane, you don't get a chance to watch it because
Yeah.
you've got to be focused on what's happening. Okay, now we're going to start turning to the left. So if you want to start turning to the left for me, you'll get some nice views of the city as we turn, so you can start turning for me, that's it. Now you may notice that the aircraft looks like it's dropping.
Yep.
So we counteract that like you're doing. You hold the yoke back a little bit to hold the nose up just above that line, and there we go. See how we're not falling?
Yep.
You see we're flying over the city now? Excellent.
Beautiful.
Fantastic. Great turn there, because now we're maintaining about 3,000 feet. Nicely. Nice level turn. We're going to keep turning all the way around, and then once we've straightened back out, we're going to descend down to 2,000 feet. So keep that turn going like you are. Keep holding back on it. That's it. Nice and smooth. Try not to sort of yank it back and forth, just nice and smooth and relaxed like that. It does feel a little bit weird the first time you do it, but you get used to it on your second round. That's it, keep that turn going. Excellent. Fantastic. So you said you fly into London a bit, do you?
I was there a few weeks ago, yeah.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Probably a bit colder than what we've got it here.
I was on a 737 last Friday as well.
Oh, there you go. So
But from Sydney.
now you can see what it's like flying one. That's it.
They're
Keep
just
that
amazing.
turn going
Yep,
around.
yep.
straighten back out in a moment. So that's our airport out there. It's going to appear out there to our left.
Yep.
We want to fly parallel to it. So getting ready, turning to the right now. We want to level those wings.
Right.
So keep turning to the right so that we're flying straight down that way. Fantastic, look at that. Now, we're perfectly flying parallel to that airport. That's excellent. You've rolled out exactly where we need to be. So well done with that.
Just pure luck. Shall I go down to 3,000?
Yep, so pushing forward now.
Yep.
That's it. Just be careful not to bump that, guys, just because it's a touch screen. That's all. Excellent. So now we're going to descend down to 2,000 feet. So you're going to hold it just like that, just there.
Right.
So see, we're actually descending quite nicely.
Yep.
Excellent. So for this landing, we're going to do what we call a touch and go. So we're going to touch down on the runway. That's it. Turning a little bit to the right. Otherwise, we're going to cut that circuit off.
Yep.
So just nice and relaxed. Turning to the right a little bit more. That's it. No further than there. Excellent. So we're going to come down. You're going to hear an electronic voice go 1,500, 150. That's our height above the ground.
Yep.
When you hear it go 100, you're going to have your hand on the throttle. You're going to disengage it by pressing that button that auto throttles. So they'll be back to manual. You'll gently pull back a little bit, and then you'll hear 50, and you'll close them all the way off, so pulling them all the way back. And because we don't want to go nose first into the runway, we want to lift the nose up, so pull back on the column. So yeah,
Yep.
keep descending us down. So, whoop, not too far.
Nope.
That's okay. Nice and smooth.
Yep.
Just lowering it a little bit more. Very good. So we don't want to go nose first in the row, so we're going to raise the nose by pulling back on the yoke so that we touch down back wheels first, and then we'll lower it down. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the flaps, and then when I call for you, you're going to put the full power, and then both hands on the yoke again, and we'll be up and away. So raising the nose now to between the 3 and the 5 there. That's it. Excellent. So we've leveled off at 2,000 feet. And I'll let you know also, it'll happen very fast because the aircraft will be carrying a lot of speed, so be
Yep.
ready for it.
Right.
Excellent. All right, now we
So hang on.
That's okay. So
I'm going to pull this back.
100, disengage, back a little bit, 50, all the way. I'll prompt you through.
Okay. All right.
Don't worry, it'll seem overwhelming the first
Yep,
time,
okay.
but the second time it'll be all good. Okay, so now we're going to turn our lights on so that we can be seen. So you want to get our lights for me? These ones here, flick
okay.
all of them down again. I'll get our engine starts for you. In a moment, we're going to start getting the flaps out and configuring the aircraft, and then I'll get this first one for you, and then it's going to be all over to you. Excellent. We'd also like to set our auto brake to RTO, so just clicking it anti-clockwise, that's it. That way, if we had a problem when we pulled the throttles back instead of going for a takeoff, they'd automatically deploy the brakes for us. Just keeping that nose forward a little bit for me, pushing forward, that's it. Very good. Okay. Alright. So we'll also just turn a tiny little bit to the right just to help us straighten up a little bit more. See how, I'm just going to demonstrate something to you here, so you keep holding it. See how when you turn it like that, nothing happens?
Yeah.
So if you turn it, see how now if you hold it, the aircraft starts turning?
Right. All right.
Okay, then once you're done with it, you just gently turn it back to settle it out. And then
Okay.
once it's level, you let it go.
Oh,
That's
okay.
because the aircraft's not a fighter jet. It's quite big and has a lot of momentum. So in a fighter jet, if you did that, yes, it would immediately react.
Okay. Yep,
But because this is quite big and heavy in comparison, it's not going to do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to start slowing this down now. So the speed we set is controlled by this dial here. So
Yep.
you're going to be using that in a moment. Just turning the controls a little bit to the right for me. You might notice sometimes, so when you're holding it, you might not realize you're accidentally pulling it down a little bit, so
Okay.
that's causing the aircraft to turn. But no, you've got it perfect there. Now we're going to go flaps 1, so you can set flaps 1.
Yep.
Yep, that's it, and speed to 180, so anti-clockwise down to 180. That's it, and we're going to start turning to the left while we do that, remembering to hold that nose while we turn around. So turning to the left now. We're going to be doing a bit of multitasking on the way through, so now we can go flaps 5.
Whoa.
Oh, that's 15. That's
Is that sorry?
I'll get that 5 for you. Just relax. 160.
160.
Yep. Anti-clockwise. So one thing you remember is don't panic. Just go nice
Yeah,
and
okay,
smooth and we'll get there. It does seem overwhelming this time, but I promise you on the second time it'll feel a lot better.
Right.
That's it. So turning a little bit more to the right now. We don't want to turn too fast, otherwise we'll cut off and end up a bit too close. That's it. Raising the nose up. Once we go to get the extra stages of flaps out, you will have to be hold it up a little bit harder, just because with the extra flaps there's more drag, so it's trying to pull back on you.
Okay. You mean hold the nose up?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Right.
So pushing forward a bit more. That's it. Okay. Now we're about to go landing gear down, so this can go out and down for me. Landing gear, so out and down.
Yep.
Pulling back now while you do that, so we don't descend below 2,000. Flaps 15.
Flaps.
Yep, just put it in 15. Nice and smooth, that's it, 15. Speed to 150. And turning to the right, left now. Nice and tight. Keep turning to the left. That's it. Nice and smooth. You'll notice we do everything in a pattern. So holding it there, turning to the right, right now. Turning to the right and pulling back, that's it. Pull back.
Yep.
There we go, we got that turn nice and tight, a bit too tight, but that's okay. The airport, see the airport out there in the distance? So keep turning to the left, but not as tight that time.
Okay, alright, yep.
Don't want to go too far. So there it is out there, can you see it? So keep turning a bit more to the left.
Oh, I see, yep.
Yep, we want to go out there nice and smooth.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Now in a moment we're going to go flaps 30. When that happens, because there's a lot of flap out, the aircraft is going to try and kick back on you, so make sure you're just gently holding that pressure forward to stop it climbing.
Right.
Well, we will hold that nose up a bit longer just because we have descended a bit low in that last turn.
Right.
So straightening out now and turning to the right, we want to turn a bit more to the right so we can line up with the runway, and just remembering to be nice and smooth with the controls. Pushing forward a little bit more, that's it. Excellent, so you've got the runway in sight?
Yep.
Cool. There's two runways, obviously. We want to go for the one that's on this side. So turning to the right now, just nice and gentle, holding that nose back while you do, because we yoke back while you do, because we don't want to descend too much. Turning to the right a bit more. That's it, excellent. There we are. Alright, in a moment we're going to go flaps 30.
Okay.
So flaps 30 now, and then speed to 143. So keep turning to the right while you do that, and remembering it's going to try and push forward on you, so making sure that you're holding the nose forward.
Yep.
So push forward.
Forward. Right.
That's it, see here it comes now. There you go.
Yep.
So nice and gentle. See how the power came up then?
So is there any instrumentation for the landing?
We're going to be doing it visual.
Oh, okay, right. So okay.
Normally, some of the more modern versions of this aircraft, so just playing back to the wall, they actually have a heads-up display that you pull down, and all of that is displayed right in front of you. You can see through it.
Right.
We don't have that installed on here.
Okay.
So turning to the left now, see the runway out there? We want to line up with it now. See it out there in front of us?
I think so, yeah.
Yep, so where those red lights are. So turning a bit to the left.
Oh, I thought I was already to the left, but yep.
No, that's okay. See now how, if you look outside, you can get the picture. We're trying to line up with the runway.
Yep.
That's it. Fantastic. Keep it just about there. Just nice and gentle now.
Yep.
Excellent. In a moment, you're going to get, remember what I said, 100, disengage back a little bit, and then 50 all the way. Don't worry if it's a bit overwhelming. I'm sure
Am I descending now?
Yeah. See now you've got two white, two red lights on the side there. That's a perfect glide slope. So you're actually coming in on the perfect angle.
Right.
So now just relax and just keep flying it towards that runway.
I'm still pulling back, is that right?
Yeah. You have to do that because it's still a manual job. We can't take it all out, so keep it coming down. Look at that, perfect angle. Two white, two red. There you go, nice and smooth. So we're at 200, you're going to get your hands ready now. Just being sure to make sure you only rest them because they still have to move. That's it. So raising the nose a little bit now, pulling back, disengage that auto throttle, pull it back.
Oh.
There we go. Nice and smooth, just relax. That's it. Oh, just hold it there.
Yep.
There you go, you're down. Alright, we're going to go flaps 15. I'd like you to put the power up for me. Keep that straight.
Okay.
Power up, remembering that this isn't going to turn you, so...
What's this one? Yeah.
No.
Oh.
We're going to go around again, so put them all the way up.
Oh, okay.
Forward. Yep, power up.
Oh, we're going to take off.
Yeah. Touch and go. That's it, hold it there. See, it takes a couple of seconds for the power to come on.
Yep.
Okay, and I'm going to call V1 rotate. That's it, keeping this nice and straight. And V1 rotate, so pulling back. just like you did last time, all the way, and up we go to 15 degrees. Off the out of your way again.
Terrific.
Excellent.
Gee, that was exciting.
It was, wasn't it? There we go, got that back. Fantastic, so keep it going straight. You're at a positive rate, landing gear up, so you can pull that out and up. And when you're going to tooth it yet, get your landing gear out and up. Very good. Lowering the nose now down all the way to between there, because we're going to be going to the right this time.
Okay. To where, sorry? To 3.5 again?
No, 2,000 this time. We're going to keep a nice tight
right.
on this one.
Yep.
So that way we have time to head for Hong Kong. So
good.
Pulling back a little bit more. That's it. Now we can go flaps 5. That's it. We can go flaps 1. So you can see you're doing it real quick there, so don't worry, got plenty of time, just nice and relaxed.
Okay.
Flaps 0. There you go, see? That's it. Fantastic, look at that. We're going all good now, so you can lift that nose up for me a little bit more, pull it back a bit. Fantastic. Excellent. So our captain, first 737 landing. How'd that feel?
Amazing.
All the passengers alive?
Are they still alive?
Yeah, that's the main thing. Alright, I'll clean the aircraft up for
Drinks will be served shortly.
After we've set it up, we've got them off everyone. That's it. Okay, we're going to start turning to the left now. We're going to keep a nice tight circuit on this one. So turn to the left for me.
To the left?
Yep. We'll go to the left on this one. You get a better view of the city.
Alright.
It's no... In a normal... The standard circuit direction is always left. Sometimes you go right for various reasons, such as there might be terrain. In this one we'll go left just because the city view's a bit better when you saw it out there. So just hold it there, none more further to the right.
I'm sorry.
What was that?
Sorry.
No, that's okay. They fall off all the time. Excellent. So you may notice that, see, this is illuminated, the master caution with the fuel. So the reason that is because our centre fuel tank's out of fuel. We've still got plenty in the wing tanks though. But because the pumps are empty, they're sucking air through, which is obviously bad for the pump. So if you want to get these two switches here, pull these out and up. Just remember to, that's it. There you go, see you've cleared it off now because you've turned the pump off. If we had a major fault, that would actually illuminate. See how it comes up with like various faults?
Yep.
And because nothing stays illuminated, there's no fault detected by the computer. So keep turning to the left now, nice and tight, a bit further. Very good. So the landing on this one's going to be exactly the same, but this time, as you did before, we're going to get the thrust reverses out. So we stop this time. Fantastic. Got that turn going really good. The speed brake for our approach this time, so don't forget, turning to the right now, just to straighten the aircraft up. Remembering, so you've got to anticipate it, so keep turning to the right to level those wings.
Yep.
Keep a bit further. Excellent. There we go. A little bit more to the right, just so we can intercept that heading in. See, we've got the airport out there.
Yep.
Good. So a little bit more to the right, that's it, just as you are. And pushing forward so that we can lower the nose down to between there. So a bit further, that's it. Excellent. Alright, so a bit further to the right for me. We're going to turn a bit more, otherwise we're going to come in a bit too close. So we'll have to do a really tight turn at the end. That's it. And turning back to the left now, just so we can level those wings out. Nice and level. And lifting the nose up again so that we stay at 2,000 feet. There we go, fantastic. So if you hold those level now, see how that's actually a little bit down to the left?
Yeah.
It's only very slight, so turn it a bit more to the right. To the right.
Oh, to the right,
We want to get those parallel with that white line there.
Yep.
That's it. Fantastic. Okay. Now we're going to get ready for our landing. So if you'd like to set our auto brake to 3 this time, in a normal airline sense we'd use a setting of 2 or 3. That'll stop us really fast.
Yep.
If we use max, that'll go really fast, but we'd blow out the tyres while we did it as well. So you don't